Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top entrepreneurs are using to make more sales, dominate their markets, and how you can get those same results. Here's your host, Dave Woodward.
Welcome back to Funnel Hacker Radio. I'm your host, Dave Woodward. Today, you guys have the opportunity of hearing from a guy I just recently met, but I just fallen in love with. I want to introduce you guys real fast to Colin Sprake. Colin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave, it's my absolute pleasure to be on the show, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and share with your listeners.
I've been just so impressed as we've had the opportunity of talking. You're just such a genuine person who just speaks from the heart, and I've just really had the opportunity of, as I've looked at your business model and the things that you're doing, and you're absolutely crushing it in an industry where most people really just kind of struggle as far as thinking the only way I can build an online business, or even more importantly, the business you're doing, make your mark, is a crazy, crazy business where you guys are doing over 400 events a year. That event business is one I'm always so impressed by. If you guys can pull this off without doing the whole JV thing like you guys are doing, is something I really want to make sure our listeners, understand how they can actually run events, how they can be successful and be as profitable as you guys are being. If you're okay, let's kind of dive right into that. Is all right?
Yeah, with pleasure, man. Would love to assist, man.
Perfect. Well, obviously, you've got a ton of success. I mean, you've been an entrepreneur forever. You've got, number one best-selling books around the world. You've written books with Dan Kennedy and with Brian Tracy, your own books. But most importantly, you're creating this business right now that is a live event business that is crushing it right now, all up in Canada. Is that correct?
Yeah, all across Canada. We've been building it since middle of 2004. And big thing for me, one thing you'll learn very quickly about me, Dave, is that I believe in the statement. It's my own statement. If you run with the sheep, you get sheared. So I'm all about running the opposite direction.
If you run with the sheep, you get sheared. That is awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about your business. And I know you guys obviously are huge ClickFunnels advocates. You've been using ClickFunnels for a long time. More important than that, I want to help our listeners really get a better sense of how have you created over 172,000 entrepreneurs coming to your live events? How are you pulling this off? What do you do that works?
Yeah, Dave, well, let me take you back maybe one big step, which was I first got into this industry going, well, I want to do seminars the way other people do seminars because I believe in helping more people than just doing one-on-one. But I didn't want to do it the way everyone else has been doing it because I didn't really see, in my own personal opinion, longevity in all the JVs, because eventually your list becomes so diluted and what have you. So I said to myself, number one, I'm a business owner before I'm a trainer or a facilitator. I really looked at that and I said, how can I do this differently? And how can I be, the going against the herd? And, it was fascinating. I went down and I actually met with Frank Kern and Ryan Dice down in San Diego at one of their events. And Frank Kern said one thing to me I'll never forget. He said, stay in the offline world. The online world is too competitive. And I've never forgot that. And that's how I started with live events. And I realized one of the key things that has also changed in the world is everyone's just gone purely online. And I know a lot of your business is online, of course, and so many other people's businesses are online. But one thing I realized very quickly is people are craving community and craving connection with one another. And we seem to be losing that. And I think the real true successful businesses in the 21st century are going to be ones that bring back community. And I started to look at that and said, well, let me go that way. And now that's how we generate all our leads for our events. Our community is continually referring us, and it's a successful community. We always over-deliver and under-promise in everything we do. So we have raving fans no matter what city we go to across Canada. Of course, are now coming down to the States in early 2018.
That's fantastic. I love the whole idea as far as community. It's, we talk within our community, we joke a lot about this whole idea as far as culture. And really, today is Thursday. Throughout our community, basically, we have Thursday is our Drop the Mic show. And so everyone in our office wears our culture shirt. It's a cult with a big old X mark through it, saying way of life. And we've always joked around as far as it's a culture-based business. And for us, that culture is one of the things I know that you have been just a huge builder of, as far as a community that is so strong. But that is not something that's easy to build. So how have you actually gone about building that type of a community that no matter where you go throughout Canada, you fill live events.
Yeah, I think the key thing started off with actually defining our core values right in the beginning. So we defined our core values from day one at Make Your Mark. And then we have core values. Our core values, we have 6 of them. They are all over everything we do. In fact, when we go to our events, on the side of the stage stands a banner with our core values on it. When people register for our programs, above the terms and conditions on the back of the registration form, our core values. In their binders they get from us, our core values. So even the students we attract into Make Your Mark have the same core values as us. And the ones that don't really fit often are the ones that drop out of our program or don't really succeed in our program because they have a different way of thinking or different core values to us. And we're okay with that. I mean, we don't lose a lot of students. We lose maybe 5% of students over a 2-year period, which is really nothing in the whole scheme of things. But the culture we've created around our core values, I mean, people call us on our core values. We live our core values. And I love it that you say Cult-ure because that's what we say. I mean, every culture has a cult. And if you don't like the cult you're in with us, then you probably should move on. And it's just so cool, Dave. To me, if anyone listening to this podcast really gets it, your core values and your culture determine your success because that's how you keep people, retain people, motivate people, inspire people, and you create not just an amazing community. I think people say your community starts outside of your office. It actually starts inside your office. Sir Richard Brunson, I got to spend a week with him earlier this year. And one of the things he said to me is, you know what, Colin, your clients are not number one. Number one is your employees. You create a culture, a community within your office that goes out and it funnels and ripples out into your community with your clients. And that's how you grow a really strong culture and get people referring you left, right, and center.
Man, I love that. I'd say that's one of the things we've looked at as far as within ClickFunnels as we built it. The majority of all of our staff, all of our support people were actually users who were using our platform and everything else. And we've really tried to make sure that our employees felt extremely connected to us and to our passion, to our mission. And wanted to kind of find out, you mentioned there's 6 core values for you. What are those 6 core values?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have respect the individual is one of ours, unconditional gratitude. We have open to possibilities, integrity, commitment to excellence, and of course, the 6th one always eludes me, but it'll come in a moment. But it comes down to really understanding. And for us, what was a commitment to excellence? Let me make sure I get that 6th one because it's really important. It just eludes me right now, Dave. It'll come up for me in a moment.
No problem.
I know them off by heart. It's crazy. I mean, the listeners are probably going, that's crazy. He can't remember his own core values. Hey, sometimes you have those brain burps that happen. So it just does happen. It's happening on this today, man.
Not a problem at all. So how have you actually started to try to instill those within your community?
Dave, just through everything that we do. I mean, we look at every single student when they even join our programs, come into our events. And I mean this, all 400 events have our core values on the main stage, right next to the presenter that's on that stage, or facilitator or trainer that's on that stage. And, even when we talk about people coming into our program we call it coming into our family. When they join our family, they know that they need to have those core values. If they're disrespectful to somebody at our office, we have a client phones in that's rude to one of our team at the office, we terminate with that client. There's no tolerance for people that aren't in line with our core values.
I think that's fantastic. I know for us, obviously within ClickFunnels, I meet with a lot of people and everyone understands that, yes, we serve 45,000 users, but we've always been, and again, Russell's book, Expert Secrets, talks a lot about this whole idea as far as the attractive character. And Russell is obviously the attractive character for us. Are you the attractive character for Make Your Mark?
Absolutely.
So how have you used your attractive character to really kind of steer that whole culture-based business?
Yeah, I think of course, I have to live those core values more than anyone else so that, and people can call me on the core values as well. So my sort of character, what I've gone out and built, even when we do marketing, a lot of our team are like, make sure our marketing we have integrity in our marketing. If we say we have 33 seats left for an event, we have 33 seats left for an event, and not 333, but we just creating urgency by limiting the number of seats. So our team hold us accountable to every single one of our core values. And the big thing is all driven by me. And that's the most important part, David. It's fascinating for me. I am the face of the company. And that's one of the things we've just started to change recently. And I'd love to share this with your listeners, because a lot of people don't realize that as you grow, I used to be the face of the company, just like Russell's the face of ClickFunnels. I've started to pull myself out. And the one thing that's made it so awesome, all my faculty and facilitators that now run stuff for me. I mean, out of the 400 programs done a year, I only do about 20 of them now. The majority are done by other people. And the beautiful part about it is I've transitioned that. And the transition has happened, and I call this the trust transfer or the relationship transfer over to our faculty or facilitators. And that's been the biggest godsend for me. I mean, I take 4 months off from my business every single year, go away, travel with my family, my wife, what have you. And I created little mini videos and mini audio recordings for every one of my faculty members as well as my facilitators. And I endorse them so highly about how much I trust them and how much I've worked with them and why I believe in them. So when our students, this person gets up in front of them, that relationship is, and trust is transferred from me to that person on stage. And that's been wonderful for the growth of our business and got us to that level where, I don't have to be there anymore. I've actually started to be less and less the face and become more make your mark. People come to make your mark to really grow their business, as opposed to I'm going to Colin Sprake to grow my business.
Oh man, I love that idea. I know that within our culture, we basically talk about getting people to the 2 Comma Club, which is from 0 to 7 figures, and then from 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9. And one of the things we've really seen is, especially once you start crossing through that first 7-figure mark, and you're trying to get to that 8 figures, you really have to start removing yourself from that. And especially if you're going to go from 8 to 9 figures, you have to be able to remove yourself because otherwise people are going to be completely disappointed if they're not always able to talk to Colin. And so if you don't mind, spend a little more time kind of diving deeper into that as far as how you've actually, I know you mentioned as far as some videos and things like that, as far as that trust relationship transfer. But I know for us, as we built ClickFunnels, one of the main things we've seen is, and it's honestly, it's one of my primary roles, I guess, here in the business, is to push Russell as far up the mountain, for lack of a better term, as I possibly can, while at the same time delivering as much continuity of trust and respect, and of people feeling that whoever they're talking to is going to get the same type of thing as if they had spoken with Russell. So how do you help a business owner do exactly what you've done?
Yeah, someone said to me the other day, what's the biggest thing you've learned in the last 10 years? And I was on stage and I said, the number one thing is only one word, and that word is trust, is learn to trust other people. And I think there's a big myth out there, Dave, where people say you need to duplicate yourself. So let's duplicate Colin or let's duplicate Russell. Here's the thing, if I duplicated myself and found someone identical to me, that'd be my biggest competitor. And that's what I think, So I think there's this myth of, I look at it in a very simple form, is I'm this, beautiful pie, this whole pie with all the little different pieces in this pie that has built this entire company. I've done every aspect of my company. I know each piece of it. Do I love all pieces? Absolutely not. There's certain pieces of the pie I'm not even interested in. And then what I've started to realize over the last 5 or 7 years is that what I want to do is I want to duplicate myself. I don't want to duplicate the Colin pie. I want to find people that are pieces of my pie that can create their own pie. So in other words, let's find a person that's really good at logistics, in terms of our events and managing our events and what have you. That's one sliver of my pie that I used to do, but that person is now a complete pie of logistics. In other words, they are way better at logistics than I could ever be. So for me, it's finding these slivers of who I am and what I've done over the time, and finding experts in each area so they can build out what I call it, their pie, so that I could never do their job at the level that they do it at, but I used to do a piece of that job in the beginning. So I find all these experts that are now, when I put them all together, the sum of the pie of all of them together is way bigger than the pie I could ever be in all those topics.
Oh man, I love that advice. That I can tell you is, as I look at our own company here, is the main thing we've tried to do is, you're right. If you try to duplicate yourself, which we've done in the past. And we have created our own competition at times. But I think if you can help basically find those little pieces and have that become their own pie, what a great analogy. I love that idea. What other types of things,
Absolutely.
Colin, what other types of things, as you've worked with entrepreneurs and have helped other business owners build their business, when we're talking about scaling a business, what other ideas would be important for a business owner to consider when they're looking at scale?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing for me is before you even start think about scaling, and I wish people would get this from day one, is put systems in place to allow you to scale. Without systems, you'll never scale. And for me, it's systems for everything: systems for sales, systems for marketing, systems for operations, production, what have you. You've got to have those systems in place in order to scale effectively. And then what happens is in the beginning, you're running all the pieces of the system, which is your entire pie. And then you get those people in that can take each part of the system and run it to the next level. And that's, for me, without systems, you'll never scale to the level you want to get to. I mean, Dave, in my own business, we're what we call city-centric. We go in and when we infiltrate and own a city. That's how our entire company works. The big thing for me is we could not go in and do the number of cities we do without having a detailed, systematized, structured plan. In fact, I have a spreadsheet that's a monstrous spreadsheet that I can put in a date of when I want to launch a city. Let's say next year we're going to be launching Dallas. When I put in Dallas's dates, it back calculates everything day by day what I need to do starting right now in sales, operation, marketing, cash flow, everything that I need to do today. All we need to do is do exactly in each of our areas of the company, exactly what that spreadsheet says, and we will actually have that event full with the right number of people and the right results and everything else in January of next year. That system is what, I always believe, build your business with the intention of franchising. Even if you never franchise, that helps you get the duplication process going where you can grow, scale, and be monstrous. I mean, we're well on our way to a 9-figure business and eventually over to a 10-figure business. And it would not be that way if we didn't have the systems and processes in place. And of course, the amazing people that drive each one of those areas for me.
Man, that's awesome. As you take a look at all the different types of systems, and I'm sure it varies from company to company, what are some of the first systems a business owner should look at putting in place?
I think the number one system is actually putting a cash flow system in place. So really understanding cash flow, looking at what your cash flow is required in order to grow your business, the different pieces of your cash flow. So you can actually sit down and say, I want to add this, I want to hire these people, or I want to do a marketing campaign, it's going to cost me this, and actually build out a proper, what we call a cash flow predictor, predicting out 12 to 24 months from now. If I make a decision today, what's going to happen with my cash flow down the line? That's cash flow system is vital because every single decision you make in a business normally costs you money. So it normally requires an investment of money. I don't like the word cost, but it requires an investment of money. But you need to see what the implications are. If I hire a person today at a senior level, how that's going to work out down the line. And that's one of the things I do always is look at a cash flow system. And then I'll also look at understanding, how to put the right people in place and how those people are going to grow with me in each area of my company as well. So I look at, people in each area and I say, okay, fine, you start with me as a city person really running one of the cities for me. And then you will eventually grow you into running the region for me or running a province or state if you're in the United States. And then that person would elevate. I love the statement, you delegate and elevate yourself. So we continue to look at how do we delegate down to finding a new person in that city, but that person then elevates himself to a state manager. And then eventually they delegate again and find somebody who can be the state manager and they then become the country manager. And we always look at that and we've created the systems around that. And if people realize the most important thing, not just cash flow, is actually building out your organizational chart for today, but also what you see organizational chart being 12 months or 24 months from now, and you put the right people in those roles, it actually helps you understand where you're going and how you're going to grow and the cash required to do it. Those two systems, cash flow and team planning, to me are the most vital systems in any business.
Man, I love the idea as far as delegate to elevate. That's a super cool idea. I think one of the things we've always tried to do within our own company as well, but I've never actually coined that phrase or heard that phrase. I think it's pretty amazing. Tell me if, the part that most business owners actually hate, at least in my experience with working with a lot of entrepreneurs, is the cash flow thing. And that is, So I've had the opportunity of being involved in a lot of different businesses, and there's always a lot of energy, a lot of excitement around the marketing, sales, all that kind of stuff. But the cash flow is always one of the things to think, I don't have to worry about that. And I've seen so many businesses fail because they haven't paid attention to that. What are some tips or tricks you would recommend for entrepreneurs, just, getting going in things to help learn those types of things, or tools they should look at? How That's usually not, when most people start a business, that's not the part that is their biggest strength.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, it's not their biggest strength, and I hope that your listeners are okay with me saying this, because it's most people in their personal lives aren't very good at cash flow. So they're not very good in the financial situation in their own personal lives, and now they're attempting to run a business with cash flow. So Dave, there's no golden bullet or silver bullet that's going to help people. My way of looking at it is, if I want to go out and get fit and start running, well, guess what? If I'm, let's say, 20 or 30 pounds overweight, well, then I have to get off the couch and go walk that first mile that I have to do. And then next day, the next week, I might be able to run that first mile. And maybe 3 weeks later, I can run 2 miles. You've got to go through the pain to get the gain. And it's no different with cash flow in business. The reason why we all build businesses is to make money. If you're not going to manage your money, you are absolutely crazy. So you've got to go through that pain of learning cash flow. But once you really understand cash flow and you can predict your cash flow out, cash flow actually becomes super sexy, and it takes a lot of stress out of life, because you can start to see, if I make this decision today, what's going to happen 3, 4, 5 months down the line. That becomes stress relieving. And there's no sort of magic tricks in falling in love with it. You've just got to fall in love with it. It's that simple. You might as well, if you're going to make money, you might as well love the money you're going to make and really get used to it, man.
I love it. No, that's fantastic. Well, Colin, I know you got a ton of other stuff going on today, and I really appreciate the time you've been able to share with our listeners here. As we get close to wrapping things up, is there anything else you want to make sure our listeners know about or should be aware of?
Yeah, Dave, for me, I'm a big fan of what we do, and if any of your listeners are really thinking, well, how do I get myself to the next level? The biggest challenge I see for most people is most people are in their own way, and that's learning cash flow and all that kind of stuff is really shifting the way people think and shifting their mindset. So if you want to learn more about who I am and what we do, I'd love them to shoot onto our website at MYM. So that stands for Make Your Mark, mymsuccess.com, and just see what we do. And more than welcome to come out to one of our complimentary events and see what we do. We are devoted to serving people to get to the next level. I call myself the no fluff business coach. There's no fluff about who I am and what I do. I want people to be more successful. So if they go to mymsuccess.com, that's where they'll start to really see who I am and what we're about. And we don't have 50,000 people, in our program right now going through the program and getting amazing results if it wasn't for our devotion to actually making business better and making people's lives on this planet better.
I love it. So again, guys, that's mymsuccess.com. Make your mark, success.com. And again, I think the main thing I really highly recommend that you guys go ahead and really funnel hack his entire system and page. My main reason in saying that is you take a look at it, you're going to see his core values throughout that, which is an important part for you when you're looking really at scaling a culture-based community. So I want to make sure that you have a ton of success in your business. And I always recommend that you go ahead and you funnel hack those people who are already having success. No one's doing it better in the event-based business right now than Colin. So Colin, thank you so much again for being on the show. And I look forward to talking to you real soon.
Thank you so much, David. It's been my pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just subscribe over at funnelhackerradio.com. In addition to that, we'd love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at funnelhackerradio.com/free trial. One last thing is we love giving away cars. So if you'd like access to a free dream car, all you have to do is go to funnelhackerradio.com/dream car and you'll get all the details. Thanks again for listening.